Well. Now at noon, those are the sounds of cleanup. The severe weather may be gone, but central Ohioans are continuing to recover after heavy rain and wind battered central Ohio, leaving behind widespread damage and at least one person dead. But we do want you to take a look at the radar right now as more storms are back in the area. I'm really glad that you were joining us for 10 TV News at noon today here on 10 TV and on the app. I'm Tracy Townsend. Let's talk about the destruction from yesterday's storms that left thousands without power. Several roads are closed. And we do have some new drone video we just got into the newsroom from Crooksville, where flash flooding has mostly receded. You can also see hazmat teams are on the scene. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine and Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther are expected to provide an update on cleanup efforts at any moment now. But first, this afternoon, we have live 10 weather impact team coverage for you. Meteorologist Lily Aldrich is in Upper Arlington. She has a look for you at the cleanup. 10 TV News reporter Marsha Augustin still there in Perry County with a first-hand look at all of the damage, this time inside flooded houses. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Justin Gertz. Justin, I'm telling folks more rain on the radar now?
Yeah, we are seeing some of those areas of showers and a couple of thunderstorms out there. Thankfully, in the Columbus area proper, we've been pretty quiet, and that's the case for areas off toward the east as well. But have been some, again, areas of rain and a few thunderstorms out there. We'll put a loop on this over the past hour. You see the general southeastward motion, and as these have tried to move into our area, they've kind of fallen apart some, which is great news. However, there is a thunderstorm northeast of Kenton and southwest of there as well. This will be affecting portions of the area. These are pretty small, though, thankfully. So as they come through, very localized in nature, not a big wall of storminess like what we had yesterday. But zooming in here again, you see some of those lightning bolts on there indicating there is a bit of energy with these as these roll off toward the south and east. But again, very small in nature. Want to highlight that there is a flood watch in effect still for much of the area through this evening, as any of these could produce some local downpours. However, again, not going to be a widespread issue for us. Spotty shower or thunderstorm here early in the afternoon. Better chance comes up toward the mid-afternoon hours. We'll detail that with your hour-by-hour forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, our coverage does continue now. Again, we're going to Perry County. Flooding really is the main concern there. And new for you at noon, a Crooksville family of 6 really trying to figure out where to begin after floodwaters tore through their home. 10 TV News reporter Marsha Augustin is there. Marsha, you got to walk through that damage as this family's trying to save whatever they can.
Yes, I did, Tracy. And beyond the damage, when I walked into that family's home, I truly felt their pain. And with every step I took, water gushed out from underneath the carpet.
I made my kids get in the car, and I had my 16-year-old just drive it up the back alley out of the water.
Yep.
For this mother of 4, the damage is simply too much to put into words. Floodwaters rushing into this Crooksville home, soaking the entire living room and turning once white carpet brown. Her mother-in-law stepping in to help the family.
Just watch your step. It must have been kind of, it's all, everything was floating. When I came in yesterday, it was up to my chest.
She says her nephew ran to the house to warn the family of the storm.
He called me, which I live on the other side of town. Get down here, they're going underwater.
Personal belongings were destroyed, windows were broken, and water damaged items inside cabinets. The family even moved some of their belongings onto the bed, trying to keep what they could from getting wet. The water levels in the dog's cage here in this home got so high they had to evacuate the dog. But you can see here how his blankets are still soaking wet.
We got the dog out. That was the main concern with the kids, and we got them all to safety.
Through all the loss, there is one thing this family is thankful for. No one was hurt. Now they're left picking up through the damage, one item, one room, and one day at a time.
It's sad because where are they going to go? The kids start school next week.
And on top of all of this, the family still has no power in their home. Megan, the mom, tells me that power is expected to be turned back on by this Friday, August 14th. Marsha Augustin, 10 TV News.
So amazing that they were willing to share that with you and us. Thank you, Marsha. Now, as we mentioned, thousands are still without power more than 24 hours after the initial storms. Right now, we want to give you a live look from AEP's outage map. There are nearly 80,000 customers without power in the state, with Franklin County having 61,000 of those. And that really still is a significant drop compared to other times within the last 24 hours. According to that same outage map at 6 this morning, there were more than 83,000 people without power in our state. That's nearly 35,000 less than at 6:45 last night. So there is some progress here. Earlier today, 10 TV News reporter Amy Steigerwald talked with AEP about efforts on restoring power to Central Ohio. Here's what their rep had to say.
Is the main problem, from what we've been seeing driving around, trees that are sitting on utility lines? Is that what kind of makes things a little bit dicey for crews and it might take a little longer?
Yeah, the ground was really saturated already from the wind, and I don't have the confirmation, but it sounds like we have a few tornadoes that touched down, and just the massive amount of damage that came through with that. There's, like you said, trees everywhere. There's cars that are flipped.
Again, that was Amy Steigerwald talking with a representative from AEP. You can take a look at that full interview and get the latest power outages in your neighborhood when you scan the QR code on the screen right now. You'll be able to download the free 10 TV app. And of course, with so many people who don't have power, the city has set up some shelters to help. That does include in South Columbus at the Scioto Southland Community Center. That's just a few miles south of where some of the most significant damage has taken place. 10 TV talked with a couple of kids at the shelter with their parents' approval about what they saw during the storms.
I woke up, I looked outside, it was raining a lot. And so I went to the kitchen. Out of nowhere, I heard a big crash and the house started shaking.
I got flown against the wall and we tried to go in the basement, but the basement didn't have anything, rails that we could hold on to. And we was upstairs when the power went out.
Was it scary?
Yes, I got thrown against the wall.
Volunteers with the Red Cross tell us a number of families stayed the night at that rec center. Volunteers say the Red Cross will keep the shelter open until they can find alternative housing for the folks there. And there are several Columbus recreation centers closed until further notice. Barrack Community Center in South Columbus had really just a lot of damage there, as you can see from these photos. Parts of the roof also got torn off. Here's a list of other community centers closed until power is restored. Marion Franklin, Woodward Park, also the Fran Ryan Center. Lincoln and Tuttle Pool also closed out of this, along with 3 city golf courses. And Berliner, well, that's still to be determined. Here's why. Look at the video here of the damage of the power poles. Some bent or snapped in half, given the damage there to all of those power poles surrounding the park. Officials say they're really not sure when it's going to be back. You'll want to stay with us here at 10 TV and our 10 Weather Impact team for full coverage on Central Ohio's storm recovery and cleanup. Be sure to download the free 10 TV app in your app store. You can put that on your smart TV or your mobile phone and take us with you. Also, don't forget our website, always available to you, 10tv.com.